Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sort through stacks of sources to bring you the knowledge that really counts. Today we're tackling something pretty deep. The meeting point between, let's say, ancient spiritual wisdom and, well, modern science. Specifically neuroscience and this fascinating area of biofield research. Our sources really center around one powerful mission statement. It's like a prescription for living, and we need to unpack it. The translation is basically, live in your highest self-respect, and from there, make the impossible possible by becoming a carefree emperor. The original phrasing is, apne shrest, swaman ke fakar mein na, asambhav ko sambhav karte befikar bachapana. Now that sounds amazing, right? But our job today is to take it from just aspiration, well, into neurological reality. What does being a carefree emperor actually mean, down at the cellular level?
That's exactly the question. The foundation, the Shrestha Swaman, or highest self-respect, it's the core identity piece. Spiritually, it means you stop identifying with your job or your past or even just your body. Instead, you recognize yourself as an ancient divine soul, a world benefactor, even a direct child of the supreme source.
Okay, but that sounds like a belief. How does it become more?
Well, it's more than just thinking positively. Our sources propose this identity actually creates a frequency. And this deep dive, it's all about showing that this frequency, well, it exists, it's likely measurable, and it fundamentally changes your brain chemistry. Okay, let's get into the science.
Let's do it. So, starting with Swama, this stable self-respect state, if that's the anchor, what's happening upstairs in the brain when we, activate it, the sources call it a stable identity frequency. How does a spiritual feeling become, a stable neural frequency?
It's actually a pretty elegant feedback loop. When a soul consistently holds onto this high divine identity thoughts like, I am a peaceful, sovereign being, it stabilizes specific neural pathways. Imagine your brain is like a radio dial. Most people. They're constantly flipping stations based on what's happening outside: stress, someone's opinion, fear.
Right, reacting all the time.
Exactly. But maintaining Swaman, that's like locking the dial onto a high-frequency station. Confidence, peace, that's the signal. Scientifically speaking, those consistent self-respect thoughts significantly activate the prefrontal cortex, the PFC.
The brain CEO, right. Planning, emotional regulation.
Precisely. It's your executive function hub.
So when the CEO is active, fully engaged, what happens to the more reactive bits of the brain? The panic button.
That's the key mechanism for becoming bificker, carefree. Activating the PFC actively dampens, it suppresses the amygdala.
The fire alarm, the fear center.
Yes. When you're rooted in the pride, swama, of who you truly are, that fear center just naturally quiets down. It has less power.
So becoming carefree isn't about, pretending worries don't exist. It's about physically dissolving the brain patterns of worry. You do that by consciously stabilizing this higher identity.
Exactly right. If your frequency, your Swaman vibration rises and stays stable, low energy thoughts like that's impossible, asambhav, or chronic anxiety, they just can't resonate. They can't find purchase in that high energy state. They dissolve automatically.
Wow.
And that is the mechanism for making the impossible possible. You're literally removing the internal static, the resistance created by fear and doubt.
Which brings us back to the carefree emperor, the Befikar Badshah. We might picture someone lounging, but the sources hint at something deeper, like biological sovereignty.
Yes, exactly. Let's connect the dots. Chronic worry, or fikr as the source calls it, is biologically toxic. We know this. It makes your adrenal glands pump out cortisol, that weakens immunity, messes with sleep, keeps the brain on high alert. Totally exhausting. That's the biological state of, let's say, a non-sovereign anxious soul, constantly reacting. But the Befikar Badshah lives in inner security. Spiritually, that's trust in the larger picture, the divine drama. Scientifically, it means balanced neurochemistry. That trust mindset actually boosts serotonin and oxytocin.
The feel-good and connection hormones.
Right. So you shift from that draining cortisol overload state to a restorative, powerful state of hormonal balance. That's real biological sovereignty. Your inner chemistry is serving your peace, not undermining it.
Okay, that shift from reaction to intentional security is huge.
Right.
But getting that high-frequency identity stable is step one. Now, this is where it gets really practical, right?
Yeah.
If we want to maintain this sovereign state, how do we train the brain? This leads us to the tools for transformation, starting with the power of silence.
Absolutely. The sources really emphasize Raja Yoga meditation, which is a very specific kind of intentional silence as the way to transform negative into positive. And the scientific take on this silence, it's profound. It's basically a systematic neural detox.
Okay, for listeners who maybe aren't meditators, why is just being quiet so powerful for detoxing the brain? What's it doing?
It directly targets something called the default mode network, the DMN.
Right.
The DMN is the brain network that's active when you're, mind wandering, replaying the past, worrying about the future. It's the self-referential loop, the chatter.
The source of that background anxiety when there's nothing specific to worry about.
That's often it. When you engage in this intentional silence, you force the DMN to quiet down, to reset. You're stepping out of that internal noise that generates anxiety. And the practice increases alpha brainwaves associated with calm alertness and theta brainwaves linked to deep insight, creativity, and memory consolidation.
So you're literally switching brain modes.
Yeah.
From panic and survival, which is often high beta waves, to solution-finding mode, calm creativity.
Precisely.
Okay, that makes immediate sense of the spiritual advice on dealing with old habits, what they call old sanskars. The guidance is, stop owning them. Don't say my anger, my fear, my procrastination.
Yes. Treat them as external patterns passing through.
And there's a brain reason for that.
Oh, absolutely. This is a perfect example of spirituality and brain plasticity aligning. The science of ownership backs this up completely. When you say, my anger is awful, or, oh, I always mess that up, you are literally reinforcing those specific negative neural pathways.
Yeah.
Through what's called self-identification bias. Your brain strengthens connections you claim as part of me. You're telling your brain, this pathway, me.
So you're essentially feeding the habit by owning it.
Exactly. But the moment you introduce what we could call neurodetachment, the moment you say, that's an old pattern of anger arising, I see it, but it's not me.
You cut off the fuel supply.
You cut off the reinforcement loop. You stop owning it. You starve that old pathway of energy and attention. And transformation becomes so much easier because you've just opened the door for neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, to carve a new positive pathway.
That small shift in language from my flaw to an old pattern I'm releasing seems incredibly powerful for speeding up change. Okay, so we stabilize the identity, we use silence to detox. Now, what about amplifying the positive? The sources talk about conscious collaboration, the combined form, like God plus the soul working together.
Right. This is the principle of resonant amplification. And try to feel of it less like magical intervention and more like coherent energy physics. When you consciously remember or hold the awareness that the supreme power, the highest source, is working with you. That your positive intention isn't alone, but it's backed by this infinite resource. Well, the vibrational amplitude of your thought increases manifold, not just double.
Manifold, like exponentially.
It's suggested to be significantly amplified. Think about it. A thought just focused on your own effort has a certain energy signature, right? Limited by your own perceived capacity. But a thought held in conscious partnership with the highest power, it gains an exponential magnitude. It achieves coherence. This is the science behind that spiritual phrase, himit vash medad bap. It means when the child, the soul, takes one step of pure courage or awareness.
The Father, the Supreme, gives 1,000 steps of help.
Essentially, yes. That one step of your coherent energy gets multiplied massively because it aligns perfectly with the highest frequency source. It resonates.
Okay, that amplification must directly relate to the law of conversion. They talk about turning negative into positive. The sources call it energetic transmutation. It's not just philosophy, it's physics.
It's presented as a fundamental law of spiritual energy. Energy transforms. You don't destroy fear, you transmute it into faith, into trust.
Anger into courage. Pain into power.
Exactly. Instead of just suppressing or ignoring the negative energy, you actively convert it using that amplified high-frequency state. And this isn't just renaming an emotion. It's described as causing a measurable shift in your internal state, particularly in heart-brain coherence.
Brain coherence. Let's touch on that. How does that connect to something like the power of blessing, the duadina practice?
Ah, yes. Duadina. Consciously radiating unconditional goodwill. It's a powerful practice. Scientifically, generating these feelings of blessing, compassion, gratitude, they dramatically increase your heart rate variability, or HRV.
Okay, high variability sounds bad. Isn't stable better?
Actually, no. That's a common misconception. High HRV is a critical marker of excellent mental health, emotional resilience, and adaptability. It means your heart and nervous system are flexible, responsive, and can recover quickly from stress. Low HRV is linked to anxiety, depression, and heart issues.
So when you actively send a blessing, you're actually optimizing your own nervous system.
You absolutely are. It's almost like, well, profoundly beneficial selfishness.
Huh. Okay, that makes the homework Giving blessings your natural nature, much more compelling. It's self-care.
It truly is. You're engaging in what our sources might term a biofield transmission of coherence energy. And this brings us to that really fascinating, measurable detail I mentioned, the physical ripple effect.
Right, the field.
When a soul consistently reaches and maintains this high-frequency, sustained self-respect, compassion, blessing, the heart's electromagnetic field, which, by the way, is vastly stronger than the brain's field, about 5,000 times stronger electrically.
Wow.
It radiates outwards with this coherence, this calmness and positivity. The sources cite a measurable influence up to 3 meters away, 10 feet.
So you are literally changing the vibe in the room. Influencing the state of people near you just by holding your own centeredness.
That's the implication. Your very atmosphere becomes a positive force.
Which ties in perfectly with the idea of success coming from service done with love, not just grinding effort. When you operate from that high-frequency, coherent state, success becomes, well, almost effortless, natural.
It feels effortless because your actions align perfectly with what psychologists call the flow state. Mahali Csikszentmihalyi's work, you know?
Right, being in the zone.
Exactly. When service comes from that place of love and swaman, your prefrontal cortex is fully engaged in the task. You're absorbed, focused, maybe even joyful. The stress circuits, they're quiet. You're maximizing your effectiveness without the usual cognitive load or strain. That spiritual concept, seva men umangutsa, enthusiasm and zeal and service, it's basically a pure scientific description of operating in flow, and that naturally leads to success.
Okay, let's pull this together. What does it all mean? We've kind of mapped out a path to becoming this carefree emperor scientifically.
Yeah.
Step 1, stabilize your identity frequency swama to actively quiet the amygdala, the fear center.
Step 2, use intentional silence like Raja Yoga for that deep neural detox, resetting the default mode network.
Step 3, consciously practice resonant amplification, the combined form, and cultivate biofield coherence through practices like blessing, dua dina.
And this whole process leads to the ultimate visible consequence mentioned in the sources, the visible fruit, the pratyaksh phal.
Which they say is realized especially in this unique time, the confluence age or Sangamyug. What's the science behind visible fruit?
Well, the sources talk about the soul's radiant transformation becoming apparent. Scientifically, we can interpret this highly energetic, coherent state as creating a measurable biophotonic emission.
Biophotonic.
Yeah.
Light.
Yes. The body emitting coherent light. It's a known phenomenon, though still being researched heavily. The idea is when you achieve sustained, deep internal coherence, it doesn't just feel good internally, it starts to manifest physically. As a kind of radiance, maybe a magnetic energy field, perhaps even observable physical vitality and glow. That's the potential physical manifestation of all this inner work, the visible fruit.
That's quite something.
It is, and it leaves us, and you the listener, with a final, maybe provocative thought, drawing from a closing slogan often used in these teachings. The key to passing with honor by passing the past, essentially, achieving mastery by letting go of history, is completely rooted in neuroscience.
How so?
Think about it. The most sovereign act you can perform is forgiveness and detachment. When you consciously refuse to mentally rehearse old hurts, old grievances, old failures,
You stop re-triggering the pain.
Exactly. You are literally starving the amygdala, the fear and pain center, of its emotional fuel. You stop reinforcing those old trauma pathways.
And when that fear center is quiet,
The prefrontal cortex, the seat of your highest wisdom, your self-respect, your swaman, can fully dominate.
you're no longer ruled by your history.
You are ruling your own internal kingdom. That right there is the ultimate act of becoming a carefree emperor. Biological and spiritual sovereignty fully realized.
आज फिर से मन ने पुकारा, आपका एहसास है प्यारा। सूक्ष्म दुनिया में रोशनी छाई, मैं फरिश्ता बन के आई। हरे I'm learning, glowing, rising high to meet you. Beyond the sky, in silence pure, your love I feel. My soul with you begins to heal. आपसे मिलने आई हूँ, मुस्कान वो निर्मल निगाह मुझ में भर देती पारा है। I'm coming to meet you, Baba divine. Your eyes, my temple, love so fine. In your drishti I find my place. The silent meaning full of the sky आपका हर अंदाज अनोखा, हर पल है प्रेम से भरा। कुछ ना कहकर सब कह जाते, मेरे मन को शांति दे जाते। You speak so less yet say it all. Your silence makes my tears fall. I see the way you look so kind. In that gaze I lose my mind. मैं सीख रही हूँ उड़ना बाबा आपके पास। आपके साथ रूह मेरी तैयार है अब। फरिश्ता बनने के इरादा। I'm learning to fly, to reach your world so pure, so bright. I'm meeting divine, no words, no sound, just love eternal all around the tide. आपसे मिलने आई हूँ बाबा, दिल के दी चलाए सारा। आपका स्पर्श वो रूह का गीत, सूक्ष्म वतन में प्यार का प्रीत दी। I'm coming home, my sweetest sky, to sit with you by your side. No distance now, no more disguise, just you and me beyond the sky. आपसे मिलने आई हूँ बाबा, दिल की डी चलाए सारा। आपका स्पर्श वो रूह का गीत, सूक्ष्म वतन में प्यार का प्रीत ली। I'm coming home, I'm rising high to meet you beyond the sky inside.